Imagine a story where glamour, fame, and mystery collide in the most unexpected way. A narrative that begins under the dazzling lights of television but quickly plunges into the shadows of an enigma no one could have foreseen. This is the case of Tamika Rose Chesser, a young Australian who captured national attention as a contestant on the reality show Beauty and the Geek. Yet, what seemed to be the beginning of a promising media career would soon transform into one of the most disturbing episodes of 2025. In this documentary, we will uncover how an apparently ordinary life became synonymous with scandal, tragedy, and unanswered questions. The story we're about to reveal blends elements of psychology, police investigations, and moments of tension that could easily be mistaken for a Hollywood script. In June 2025, a shocking event in Port Lincoln, Australia, rattled not only the local community, but also sparked international attention. Tamika's name shifted from entertainment magazines to crime headlines. What happened in that quiet coastal town left many asking, how far can the human mind go when weighed down by trauma and disappointment? Prepare yourself, because this is not just another crime story. It's a tale that fuses Hollywood sparkle with the heavy weight of real tragedy. And as we move forward, you will discover surprising details that continue to leave investigators, journalists, and families perplexed. Before becoming the center of a police mystery, Tamika Chesser was seen as a rising figure in the entertainment world. Young, charismatic, and with a striking presence, she gained notoriety as a contestant on Beauty and the Geek, a program designed to contrast different worlds in search of unexpected chemistry. Her appearance on the show turned her into a local celebrity, someone with the potential to reinvent herself within the entertainment industry. But once the cameras stopped rolling, Tamika's life took an unexpected turn. At the end of 2024, she moved to Port Lincoln, a seemingly quiet coastal town, far removed from the pressures of the media spotlight. For many, it was a surprising choice, leaving behind the excitement of city life to embrace the calm of a small community. However, the first signs that something was wrong began to surface not long after. Reports from neighbors and witnesses described unusual behavior, from wearing odd outfits to making public appearances that raised eyebrows. Among the most striking accounts were moments when Tamika was seen wearing a bridal veil while holding a knife, an image that many said looked like it came straight out of a surreal film. This drastic change in behavior set off alarms within the community. Close friends and family grew increasingly concerned about the young woman's mental state, especially since such episodes clashed dramatically with her former public image on television. What was happening behind the scenes of her private life? As Tamika withdrew from the spotlight and slipped into an increasingly isolated routine, her trajectory revealed that something profound was unfolding, a story that just months later would end in a tragedy no one could have imagined. In December 2024, Tamika Chesser settled in Port Lincoln, searching for a quieter life. It was there that she met Julian Story, a man with whom she would share an intense relationship, marked both by closeness and by moments of tension. Witnesses described him as reserved, while Tamika, on the other hand, appeared increasingly unstable, shifting between affection and erratic behavior. Their connection quickly became inseparable. Friends and acquaintances recall that Julian seemed determined to understand Tamika, often shielding her from criticism or excusing unusual outbursts. It was as if he believed that patience might help her regain balance. But as the months went by, their relationship grew shrouded in mystery. In June 2025, fate intervened in the most tragic way. Julian vanished without a trace. For days, family and neighbors grew uneasy with his silence until police were called to investigate. What began as a missing person case soon transformed into a criminal investigation of shocking magnitude. disturbing information surfaced. Julian had allegedly fallen victim to an act of violence so brutal it unsettled even seasoned detectives. Though the official details remain carefully guarded by authorities, the case raised unsettling questions about what truly happened inside that seemingly ordinary home. The relationship between Tamika and Julian was no longer just a quiet romance in Port Lincoln. It had become the centerpiece of a police mystery that continues to spark debate and speculation about what really happened. Before the tragic outcome, several incidents had already raised alarms about Tamika Chesser's mental state. Neighbors reported seeing her appear in public wearing bizarre outfits, as though she had lost all sense of context. One of the most chilling accounts was of her walking through the streets in a wedding veil, holding a knife, seemingly disoriented. Those who witnessed the scene never forgot it. Other disturbing moments were also noted. Some observed Tamika talking to herself in public, as if carrying on conversations with unseen voices. To close family members, these episodes were clear signs of an escalating psychological breakdown. Her sister, Tama Cheser, later told the press she believed Tamika was suffering from psychotic episodes. According to her, Tamika desperately needed medical intervention but resisted any form of professional care. The lack of treatment, combined with the pressure of living under constant public scrutiny, may have fueled the spiral that led to disaster. Perhaps most haunting is the fact that these warning signs were not ignored. People in the community whispered that something wasn't right. And yet, as so often happens, concern wasn't enough to stop what was coming. The silence of bystanders, the difficulty of intervening, and Tamika's refusal to seek help all converged, creating the perfect storm for tragedy. With every strange episode, the sense of inevitability grew heavier. The image of a once smiling young woman gave way to a figure surrounded by fear, instability, and darkness. It was only a matter of time before the situation reached the point of no return. In the early hours of June 17, 2025, the calm of Port Lincoln was shattered forever. What seemed like just another night turned into one of the most shocking episodes in Australia's recent history. Inside the home, Tamika shared with Julian Story, something unspeakable had happened. 2 days later, neighbors noticed heavy smoke rising from the property. Alarmed, they called the fire department. What firefighters uncovered was no ordinary blaze. Inside, they found Julian's body, burned, dismembered, and missing something deeply disturbing. His head was nowhere to be found. The discovery shook even the most seasoned professionals. Authorities confirmed there were signs of an attempt to destroy evidence, but the sheer brutality defied immediate explanation. Just outside the house, Tamika was found sitting in the yard, apparently in a catatonic state, unable or unwilling to explain what had happened. The missing head became the chilling detail that turned a horrific crime into a macabre mystery. Where was it? Why had it been taken? And what was the purpose of hiding that specific part of the body? For weeks, police launched intensive searches across Port Lincoln and beyond. Cadaver dogs, drones, and even local volunteers scoured the area. Nothing surfaced until August 1st, 2025. That morning, a local resident walking his dog stumbled across a shocking find in the underbrush, the skull of Julian Story. The discovery brought partial closure to grieving families, but also raised new questions. Why was it so far from the house? How had it ended up there? The enigma of Julian's missing head became central to the case. To some, it was evidence of Tamika's psychological collapse. To others, a calculated attempt to conceal evidence. But there were also those who believed something darker was at play, an act that went far beyond the bounds of reason. With the discovery of Julian's remains, the investigation reached a turning point. Tamika Chesser was arrested and placed in a psychiatric facility under custody. The case exploded into international headlines, not only for its sheer violence, but also because of Tamika's public profile. A former reality TV personality now at the center of a global scandal. Preliminary hearings revealed disturbing details. According to official records, Tamika allegedly attacked police officers during her arrest, displaying signs of extreme aggression. She was charged with homicide, assaulting law enforcement, and attempting to destroy evidence. Her trial was scheduled for December 2025, leaving the public anxiously awaiting the outcome. But perhaps the most emotional voices came from within her own family. Her sister, Kia May, remained steadfast in her belief that Tamika was not capable of such acts in a conscious state of mind. For her, Tamika was suffering from a severe mental health crisis and needed treatment, not just punishment. Her words resonated with many who had known Tamika, reinforcing the idea that this tragedy was more complex than it first appeared. From Julian's side, the grief was unbearable. Friends and relatives described him as a man who, despite his own flaws, did not deserve such a fate. Media interviews highlighted the heartbreaking contrast between two families, each devastated by a tragedy that defied comprehension. Meanwhile, public opinion split sharply. Was this a case explained entirely by mental illness? Or was there something far darker, something that defied rational understanding? This uncertainty transformed the case from a police matter into a cultural narrative, one fueled by speculation, debate, and theories that persist to this day. And so the central question remains: will the December trial finally bring answers? Or will it only deepen the mystery of a story that seems to have no end? The case of Tamika Chesser and Julian Story is more than just a criminal record. It is a disturbing mirror of human fragility, the devastating impact of untreated crises, and perhaps of forces we still cannot fully explain. Today, Tamika remains in a prison psychiatric unit, awaiting trial. Once associated with the glamour of television, her image is now tied to one of the darkest episodes in recent history. Between formal charges and expert analysis, one question lingers. Was this simply a mental health crisis pushed to the extreme, or were there darker influences behind what happened that night? For many, the rational explanation is enough. A collapsing mind, combined with unstable life circumstances, led to an irreversible tragedy. But others cannot shake the feeling that something beyond logic was at play. From accounts of voices and shadows to the haunting mystery of the missing head, both families carry scars that may never heal. On one side, the unbearable pain of an irreparable loss. On the other, the heartbreak of watching a fragile loved one become the center of an international enigma. And this is where the case goes beyond facts. It forces us to reflect on the human mind, the thin line between sanity and collapse, and the mysteries that defy reason. In the end, each viewer must form their own conclusion. Was this tragedy the result of a spiral into psychosis? Was it an impulsive act in a moment of rupture? Or, as some still believe, was there something more in the air inside that Port Lincoln home? Something you cannot see or measure, but only feel. The truth may never be fully known, and perhaps it is that very absence of certainty that makes this one of the most unsettling cases of our time. Now, I leave you with the question: what's your theory? Share it in the comments, because this is a mystery no one can solve alone. And if you enjoy real stories that blend crime, drama, and enigmas that challenge logic, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. We have many more investigations that will leave you questioning everything. Until next time. And remember, not everything that seems real is free from mystery.